Hey everyone, it's Stamp Ventures with Shauna. Welcome to my Tuesday tutorial on October 1st. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Canada, and I'm going to be sharing some tips about doing a covered notebook today. Here's a sample, one sample that I have to show you. I'm going to try something different than the one I've got here. And just while I'm getting set up, if you're joining us, say hello. If you're from far away, let us know where you are from. I'm just going to get things synced up with my iPad. I'm really hoping I'll be able to do this because then I'll be able to see your comments so much more easily. Okay, I think I found it. Yay! Okay, and I even remembered to mute the volume on the iPad so that you're not getting a rerun from me. So yeah, in just a few minutes I'm going to be showing you a little bit, telling you a little bit more about how I covered this notebook. Kind of create a journal or an inspirational book or whatever you might like to use it for. But before I get to that, there's some things I always start out with. So we need a weather word and a funny for the day. And today's weather word is skiing. We got snow here in September, like 2 days ago, even before the calendar turned to October. And I know a lot of other people in Western Canada got snow too. And I thought, well, skiing is really good because it's, well, a positive way of looking at the snow. And I'm thinking all those areas in the mountains got amazing snow to start their ski hills off for the year. They're already working on their base because I don't think once it snows in the mountains, it probably melts all that much. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there'll be a little bit of melting, but anyways, yeah, it was crazy. And for those of you who live in the Lethbridge, Waterton area, I am so sorry for the amount of snow that you guys had to deal with there, because that wasn't even funny. And I think skiing was the last thing on your mind. It was probably more like, how the heck am I going to move this whole 3 feet of snow? And yeah, and it's super heavy because it's so moist too. But then the skiing weather also brings me to my funny, and this is just a really silly funny, but it cracks me up like no other funny. I need everyone to wish me luck. I have a meeting at the bank later, and if all goes well, I will be out of debt. I'm so excited I can barely put on my ski mask. That one makes me chuckle every time. Okay, so one more thing before we get on to the project. I'm going to show you some swap cards. My team and I had a gathering last week on Friday night. We had a fun get together, and a lot of us made swap cards to share with each other and get new ideas. And I thought they're just some awesome ideas this time around. Well, they always are, and such a variety too. We've got some fall cards, and then there's some Christmas ones in there too. So if you're looking for some inspiration, make sure you snap a screenshot, and you might be able to use some of these ideas. So this first card is from Jessie, and she used the beautiful Gather Together Designer Series paper. And I really love I always love Stampin' Up's fall designer paper because those colors are just, they just speak to me. And this year was just as good as ever, and they brought in some of the pretty peacock, and then yeah, I'm thinking like Jessie really had to get that stamp set because it's got wheat, and Jessie lives on a farm, and they are grain farmers. So yeah, she needed that for sure. And this is the inside of her card. So nicely done. And she used some of this braided linen thread or braided linen twine and finished that off. So lovely. Okay, next card here is from Elaine, and again she was doing a fall theme with hers. And I can't remember the exact name of this set. It's in the Christmas or the holiday catalog, and it's a very detailed turkey, and that's what drew Elaine to it. Is she wanted not a cartoon turkey, she wanted one that was very realistic looking, and then she's used some of the feathers. And look at that amazing bow that Elaine made. I think she probably used her bow maker that her husband made for her, and she rocked that bow totally. So thank you to Elaine. And then here's another, this works out kind of fall, snowy days. This is from Sue, and she used the birch background and the birch background stamp, and then she ran it through the Subtles embossing folder. So I don't know if you can really appreciate the texture that Sue has done here on this card, but I thought she did a really nice job. And then she's got some foliage in really neat colors. Oh, I'm liking this one here that's foil. I think that might be from the pretty peacock foils, and like there's some rust and some mint and some more pretty peacock. Yeah, that's the peacock color that Jessie used in her card, her fall card as well. So peacock, who knew it would be a great fall color? And you warm my heart. So just a really nice collection of fall leaves and sprigs. Now, I'm just realizing that for whatever reason, okay. For some reason, I'm not getting your comments showing up on my screen. Okay, maybe I need to hang on for a second while we adjust the iPad. For some reason, I'm seeing the pictures. Here's another card for you to look at while I try and find your comments, because they are not coming through on my iPad screen. Comments. Yeah, I want them. Comments. Yeah. There's this little box in the corner, and I'm trying to click on it, and it just says comments, but then it's got like the circle with the line through it, and it doesn't seem to do anything different. Okay, so there must be another way that that I can make this work. Okay. Let's see. Well, all right. So, sorry. For whatever reason, their comments are not showing up on my screen, and so I will just have to go back and read your comments later. So, my apologies. If you ask any questions, just know that I will get back to you. I just can't see the questions at the moment. So yeah, look at this beautiful stunner. And this was made by Glenda, and I think she got the idea from the holiday catalog. I think they show a card something like this. Maybe not exactly. Oh, and she's used the beautiful brightly gleaming paper and some gorgeous bling. She had to work really hard to get these this swirl of stars stuck down and not end up with glue all over. And we're really hoping that Stampin' Up! Is going to come out with more adhesive sheets so that something that's fine and detailed like this will be easier to glue down. And I can just see, not only does this look gorgeous on a card, I can see this in corners of a Christmas scrapbook page. It just make a beautiful accent for a scrapbook page. And look at, there's some more of the paper down here on the inside. I thought that was a nice touch, how she added to the inside. So thank you, Glenda, for that beautiful Christmas card. Here is a sweet little card that has the little elves, and this was made by Linda. And lots of details here. Linda's got like a bit of, I guess it's like a silver or metallic thread, and it's got little jingle bells here. And I guess it's kind of like, sort of like the little elves or stockings are hanging from the thread, or like the jingle bells are at the ends of their the ends of their little caps too. And 'tis the season. She's got some designer paper there, and this is really neat. The texture of the background. It's the new, I can't remember the exact name of it, the brick embossing folder, but she applied some, I think it was white craft ink, to the embossing folder, and it created the most amazing texture. It looks so realistic. It's really cool. And yeah, so thank you so much, Linda, and thank you for sharing that technique with us. That adding that white paper just adds a whole new dimension to the embossing. And here's featuring the brightly gleaming ornament stamps that Tammy has done with hers, and a little bit of fussy cutting to create the greenery here. And then she's got embossing, and this is the Scripty embossing folder. And I didn't think about the Scripty embossing folder being used for a Christmas card, but it's beautiful, and it kind of makes you think about when people actually used to handwrite out their Christmas letters. So it kind of makes it a little old-fashioned that way. And then Mary Merlot, gorgeous colors, so rich and lovely looking. So that was Tammy's, thank you. And the last swap card I have to show you was made by Denise. And it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. I think that saying is from the Merry Moose stamp set, but then she used some of the Perfectly Plaid designer paper. And I like this little detail right here. It's almost like a button. She's just punched out some pieces and lifted them up with dimensionals and created a little place to tuck the corner of the flap, so then you can open it and open it. Yeah, and I've done this kind of card with flaps like this before, but I've never created a place to tuck it closed, and I'm going to be for sure doing that in the future. That's such a nice idea. So thank you to all the ladies who are swapping with our team. We have lots of fun when we get together, and let me know if you ever would like to join us in our team. We always welcome more members, and not just here in Moose Jaw. People in the surrounding area or anywhere in Canada. You could join in, I guess, virtually online if you're not nearby. Okay, so I'm going to get to the project. There was something that, I know. Just to mention that there's the October host code. You can see that. I just got that going for today. If you have an order of over $90, I'll be sending you a small thank you in the mail if you're using the host code. And for every order over $50, I have a thank you draw board, and every order over $50 before shipping and tax is entered in a draw, and the winner will have the choice of receiving the Perfectly Plaid bundle. So that's the Perfectly Plaid stamp set and the coordinating tree punch, or their other choice is to receive this Christmas countdown project kit. So my board is starting to fill up, but there are still some spaces on there, and like I said, if your order is over the 50, your name will be entered into that thank you draw. Okay, so getting back to the covered notebook, this is not glued down fully, so I'm just going to rip this off. I just tacked it down temporarily, so then I could show you. This is what kind of notebook I used. I guess this is actually the back of the notebook, but these are notebooks that I picked up when back to school was on, and Walmart had these in amongst their supplies. I haven't looked lately to see if they still have this kind of notebook. I'm hoping they do, because they're nice and they're easy to cover. You don't have to, deal with coils or anything like that. So yeah, I had just done this on temporarily on the back, because I've decorated the front. So The back here, I used our beautiful Nature's Beauty stamp set and just some words from old sets that were reflective and inspiring words. I particularly like this quote by Gandhi. There's another quote here that says, "Joy is not in things, it is in us." And that quote is attributed to Richard Wagner. But I have a different looking one on the other side. Bright and green and cheery, and most of these stamps that I used here are old and retired stamps. So if you still have some of these, dig them out. You can do so many fun things with them. But the words right here, "Just Breathe," that's from a current stamp set, Colorful Seasons. And oh my gosh, I've been having to remind myself these last few days, like, Shauna, breathe, just breathe, because I'm like panicky because there's so many things I'm trying to get done and I just keep feeling like the hamster on the wheel. So I'm going to show you how I did the decorating. This cover I used crumb cake cardstock and soft suede ink. Now I have to think about this one. This cover I used, I think it's a discontinued color for the cardstock, certainly celery, and then I used Old Olive for the ink. So today I thought, okay, I'm going to try a different color, so who knows how it's going to turn out, but I've got So Saffron, and I'm going to use just a little bit of a deeper shade, Crushed Curry, but I may end up also using a little bit of crumb cake, depending on, the two yellows may be very close in color, so we'll see how that goes. And the only other thing to get started to create this background, like you see here with the shaded background, I did that with both the different colors, is a Post-it note. Yeah, the lowly Post-it note. That's your hardest working tool, if you can call it a tool, for this project. So Crushed Curry, just a deeper, more intense yellow than So Saffron. And this is all I did. I set the sponge onto the Post-it note and then I drag it off, and I'm surprised at how intense actually the Crushed Curry looks on the So Saffron. I wasn't sure if I'd get enough contrast, but there we go. So continuing on, you just move your Post-it note into another area and continue sponging. If you've just joined us, please be aware that I am unable to see your comments tonight for whatever reason. They are not showing up on my iPad. So anybody else who is there, if you see a question and you know the answer, just go ahead and talk to them and give them the lowdown. And if you don't know the answer, well, I will go through the comments afterwards and see if it's something I might be able to answer too. So you can even, as you can see, you can make the sticky note pad go right off of the page, and you just want to keep filling this space. I did this project, these notebook projects, with some people about a week ago or so, and some of them took their sticky notes and cut them into different shapes. So then instead of getting, little boxes and squares and whatnot, they actually got really interesting shapes depending on how they cut the sticky note. And makes it, I think, much more interesting if you are overlapping the sticky notes every now and again. Makes it so much more, more fun. And so I'm not trying to be doing it, making it too even or, placing them symmetrically. I'm trying to make it as random as possible when I put them down. look at that. And yeah, and you get a variety of lights and darks. And then when you get lots on there, you can start overlapping like 2 at a time, 2 or 3 at a time. So it's really fun just playing with this. You could just sit down and sponge shapes, and that in itself is a whole just fun exercise to do. I was reading about somebody who is, is she a recreation therapist or something like that? And her whole feeling is that people, adults just don't sit down and have fun and play as much as they should. You know, we did that when we were kids, and then as adults we're like, oh, no, we can't, spend our time on this or that or whatever. Yeah, so I thought that was interesting that there is just, value in digging out those Legos or just, doing anything fun or creative just for the sake of doing it, not for necessarily having to make it into any particular perfect kind of thing. Just do one more down here, and then I think oh, wait a second. Just realized that corner up. Okay. Yeah, well, you can turn it around and look at it from lots of directions. I think I need to have something here because this is a little, yeah. Oh, something like that. There we go. I don't know. You've got the idea. Anyways, that's how for the greens and the browns, I created those light and dark areas of the notebook. Okay, now I'm going to start stamping. And for these 2 designs or these 2 covers of the notebooks, I used detailed fine line stamps. So you can see there's lots of fine detail lines in those, and fine detail lines in the Nature's Beauty, the animals and the foliage. And today I'm going to try something different. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I'm always up for a little bit of an experiment, and you can see how it goes for me. What I've decided is I want to try the Painted Harvest. And so I'm just going to be doing more tone on tone to begin with. And I'm going to use this flower here, and I'm going to use more of the crushed curry. And let's see what happens when I stamp it. I've got a mat underneath. It's like a foam. Ooh, look at that. Yeah. It's got some foam in the placemat, and so it allows me to give a little bit of an extra push so I can get all of those parts of the photopolymer stamp showing. I think I want to go back with some So Saffron and do the background layer too. I didn't know if I'd want the background layer or not, but now I'm deciding I think I do. So I'm going to just add a little bit more color. Yeah, that seems to fill it in a bit more. Yeah, I'm happy. So I'm going to do a few more of these. Okay. Background flower here, and it looks all weird and light and dark in different areas. It's supposed to look like that, and if you don't like it being light in one area, you can take and turn and you can stamp it again so that it fills in more places. It's up to you, but it's supposed to be like a very watercolor looking sort of flower. Okay, how about here and here, and I think I need something down here. Yeah, and I'll turn it again just to get let's see, that's like 5 flowers. An odd number is good. Maybe I should, well, let's see. Oh, it's always hard. No, maybe I'll do it just a couple more. I'll do one just off the page there. I like it to look like the pattern is just continuing on in all sorts of directions there. Yeah, something like that. Okay, now I'm going to go back. So that was just So Saffron, and now I'm going to go back to more of the crushed curry Oh, I should have stamped my centers. It's easier to see where you're stamping this flower if you have a center that's darker. So this is where, like, I don't know, maybe this won't work out, but I'm going to use crumb cake for the center just to see, just to add a little bit more contrast, and it'll also help me to find the center. Oh, I kind of like that. That gold and that little bit of brown. Oh, yeah. That's nice, the color. Okay. Yeah, we're getting like the real sunflower action happening here. Okay, like that. Now I can go back and finish stamping some more petals because now I can, when I look through the donut, yay! So this is the crushed curry again. It's just adding a little bit more of a golden, almost a rusty gold, but yeah, somewhat of a rusty gold, really. There. And it's kind of, yeah, it's looking like a funky sunflower painting. Okay. You know what? I still feel like I need something more over there. Just in case. Yeah, it just feels a little bit lonely right here. Okay, there we go. The light color, that was very light. I'll do it again, turn it a little bit. Okay, that's the So Saffron, and then I'll put a center in that. And then, oh, I'm not very hitting the spots very accurately, but there, you're getting the idea. Okay. Oh, yeah. Now I'm going to stop with this because I think I could just keep going forever and ever if I didn't stop. Now, when I did my other covers that you saw here, I did have some other things like leaves and words. And I picked some words that I thought were quite inspirational, and I'll show you what stamp set these words come from. It's Enjoy Life, and this stamp set was designed in part by one of our $1 Million Sales Achievers, and there's some really neat words to it. Wake up, kick butt, repeat. How beautiful a day can be when kindness touches it. But this is the one that I've chosen. When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. So I'm just going to use the crushed curry again and stamp some of the words in various areas. And they'll be, just mostly background kinds of feel to them because they are just a little bit of a deeper tone of yellow. There, some maybe here. Again, I'm trying to get the feeling that this is just continuing in all directions. Now I've still got some spaces, and that's okay because now I can put some leaves in there. Save the leaves towards the end because the leaves are smaller. I find if I work with the bigger images and bigger sets of words and things, and then I can go back and add the smaller things in. And so I'll just pop some leaves into wherever I can kind of find some open areas, and I'm turning the leaves around so that it doesn't look like they're too much, like little robot leaves, too much the same. Oh yeah, I like this. The leaves are just really filling in and making it, making it feel like it's all coming together there now. You'll notice I didn't put much here. That's because I'm going to be gluing saying at the top. And so you saw that here for this journal, I stamped in black and I matted in black, and I did that because of the seam, or not the seams, the spines on these notebooks. So I thought I wanted to bring it all together. But the wording here I did in the soft suede to go with the soft suede stamping. Same thing here. Black mat to go with the black spine and black words, and then I used some of the olive color and brought in where I used the olive ink around in the papers, kind of like you're creating pattern papers. So do I have figured out how I'm going to do this? Not really. I think I'm going to make my words be my focal point, and black is the darkest color, and it's also the color of my mat. So I'm going to stamp the words in Memento Black, and then they will be, like I said, the focal point. I don't know if I really cleaned that properly, but yellow is just going to get absorbed right into the black anyways. Okay. Oh, you know what? Just learned something. Look at that. There's some yellow in there that I really should have cleaned out. Okay, so grab my... Look at how well used my Stampin' Chamois is. Isn't that a beautiful piece of work there? Just gonna take and try again, because it does kind of look like it's pretty cool how that just has fit like perfectly in between the words there, but that's not really what I was going for. So, okay, lesson, even though it did cover up the yellow, there was still yellow in the in-between parts. Let's try it again. I have one more here, just in case. Okay. And something like that. Hopefully that's kind of sort of straight. Oh yeah, pretty close. And now I want to decorate a little bit on here, and I think I'm just going to do what I was doing before with a flower in this corner. That's the background part. So this is So Saffron. A flower in that corner. And now I'm going to do my center, because then that's easier to find, to do the next layer of the flower. Center there, a center there. Now I can go back to do crushed curry with the more defined petals. Crushed curry there. Yeah, oh, that's so neat. The curry is quite amazing. Okay, so something like that. I wonder if I should have some leaves too, some curry leaves. I know you only usually get leaves this color in the fall, so there. And I might need one here. Okay, something like that. My goodness, I sure made a mess, didn't I? It's a good thing I had a grid sheet underneath. Okay, so glue. Just use a tiny bit of glue because the white cardstock is very thin and I don't want ripples showing. So just a little bit like that. Weensy little bits. All right. And then this would get glued onto my other piece. And I'm not going to actually do the very last step completely of gluing it onto the notebook, because the only notebook I've got handy right here is this one that, well, the front is already decorated, and but what I would do, if this was the front of the notebook, I would turn this piece upside down. Oh, by the way, I've cut this to 7.5 inches, 7.5 by 9 3/4 up and down. And I would do glue around the edges and a little bit in the middle. and then I would lay the gluey piece down, and you want to make sure that it's lined up at the top edge, so you cover up that part, and then it's lined up on the right hand edge, so you cover up the color on that part, and then it's lined up at the bottom edge, and you cover up that part. So then you just get a little bit of a black spine showing, and then once that's glued down and set fairly well, and the nice thing about the liquid glue is like, I can still see a little bit of that red cover peeking up there. You have time to move it a bit and get it into its right spot. So yeah, that liquid glue gives you a little bit of wiggle room. And then you turn the cover open and you take your scissors and you trim off the corners because the notebook covers are rounded, and you do the same at the other end. And if you do happen to have a little bit of cardstock, now, of course, mine isn't glued down, but if you have to, you can go and trim off a little more. I think I have about like 4 corner rounders, and I took every one of them out and tried rounding a piece of cardstock to see if the corner rounders would match up to the notebook corners, and they don't. None of them are at the same degree of roundedness. So I just, when I glued it down, I went back and rounded those corners. So that's how the covered notebook project works, and they're so much fun because you can do them in so many different designs and so many different themes, and you can make them as gifts for people, or you can make yourself an inspirational journal. It's a fun project to do. Get some friends together and create your own notebooks. Loads of just pure joy in creating and stamping. So thanks so much, and I will go back and read your comments and questions, and I'm not sure if I'll talk to you next week because my family and I are going to be on Vancouver Island visiting my great aunt. She's turning 90 years old, so we've got a special birthday celebration, but I might see if I can find a video out there that I can share, and I'll post it next Tuesday for you so you'll have some inspiration for the week. So thanks again for joining me. Bye for now.